PlayStation 2, the greatest console ever made. The PS2 boasted a massive library of titles, games like Final Fantasy X, Metal Gear Solid 3, God of War, Shadow of Colossus, Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, Gran Turismo 3, the list goes on and on. There has never been a console with a more diverse and deep list of games, and it helped turn the PS2 into the best-selling console of all time, a record that it still holds today in 2025. But not every game ended up being a classic. With over 4,000 titles being released, there were bound to be some that ended up being garbage. And that's why I'm here. What? Did you think I was going to plug in my PS2 and play something enjoyable? Hell no, I've been there and I've done that. Today, I'm in it for the misery. I'm here to sort through the worst games that the PS2 has to offer. 25 of them to be exact, but before I do that, let's go over how I got these rankings. As I did with the OG PlayStation, I once again went through Metacritic and I found the worst rated PS2 games. And no, this is not a definitive list, but it is the best aggregated scoring system that I could find, so it's the list that I'm going with. Now let's go see if any of these games is a hidden gem or if I just spent a good 50 hours of my life trudging through the video game equivalent of a landfill. So without further ado, these are the 25 worst rated PS2 games. Let's talk about it. Oh shit, you thought you were getting out of this video without a bonus entry? Several games tied at the same rating, and I obviously can't just leave one game out. That kind of wouldn't be fair, right? Especially since this game definitely deserves to be on this list. Now I am, of course, talking about number 26, Torino 2006, the official game of the 20th Winter Olympics. 39%. That long, convoluted title is the most complex thing about this game. I was expecting Torino 2006 to basically be what every Olympics game has ever been. A bunch of mini games for a bunch of different sports, a la Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. And for the most part, that's what I got. The mini games are there, and technically they are different for every sport. It's just the simplest, most monotonous gameplay I've maybe ever come across. It's basically a one-button game for 85% of the time, and then the other 15% it upgrades into a whopping two-button game. This is the equivalent of if you took all the sports nobody cares about because, Winter Olympics, and you turned it into a rhythm game for 5-year-olds. It's legitimately that simple. There is zero form of challenge in this game. And I can see what they were trying to achieve here, but the execution is just brain dead, man. Like, this game is so boring that I'd rather sit and grind synth materials on Kingdom Hearts. And if you've ever done that, you know how mind-numbing and miserable that can be. For real, this game has nothing to it. I could watch the Snyder cut of the Justice League if I wanted all of this goddamn fluff and no substance. To be fair to Torino 2006, though, the game does look really good. It has that going for it, if nothing else. Torino 2006 gets a 5 out of 10. It's just a really nothing game. It's not bad, it's just boring. Number 25, Army Men Green Rogue, 39%. Another day, another Army Men game waltzing its way onto a worst games list. If you happen to watch my video where I played the 25 worst rated PS1 games, you'll know my feelings on the Army Men series. If you didn't see that video, well, here's what you need to know. Between the years of 1998 and 2003, 3DO released 19 games on the Army Men series, and all but maybe 3 or 4 are dog shit. The previous games I've played in this series were all mission-based, third-person shooters, so that's what I expected from this game, because that would just make sense, no? Well, not to 3DO, apparently, because this game is a fucking rail shooter. What? That's not how you start off this series and then move it into a more open mission format. You take the open format and then you revamp the series by making it even more linear and more tedious. No wonder 3DO declared bankruptcy like 2 years after this. What are they thinking, dude? On what planet was this a good idea? Anyway, this game looks pretty bad, even for early PS2 years. It looks more like a PS1 game than anything. I'm pretty sure that they probably designed this for the PS1 and then just ported it to the PS2 and slapped a PS2 logo on the top of the box. It controls pretty poorly. The aiming is pretty ticky-tacky and the weapon upgrades are absolutely useless. Halfway through the first level, I just started actively avoiding the flamethrower and the rocket launcher and grenade launcher upgrades because they were harder to use than the basic M16 that you start with. Like, what's the point in that? What's the point in a weapon upgrade that makes the game harder? That's fucking dumb. I don't know. This just missed every mark it aimed for, and it missed pretty horrendously. The fact that this is only number 25 doesn't bode well for the rest of the games on this list. This game has zero redeeming qualities to make up for its bland gameplay and terrible visuals. It's just bad. Army Man Green Rogue gets a 3 out of 10. It's playable, and you might be able to squeeze a small amount of fun out of it if you really like rail shooters, but otherwise, I'd avoid this one like the plague. Number 24, The Polar Express, 39%. The Polar Express movie is a fairly good Christmas movie. I mean, it's no Muppet Christmas Carol or anything, but it's not bad. I wasn't sure what to expect from the game adaptation, though, which is a good thing because I don't think the people who made it knew what this game was supposed to be. So you start off on the train, you go from car to car, you're completing different types of mini games to get missing tickets back to their respective kid. And to be honest, all the mini games work well enough, and the changing up of the gameplay styles was, an interesting idea. And around 45 minutes in, I was wondering why the game was almost universally hated because I wasn't having a bad time playing it. And then I completed a couple more levels and the game was over. I beat the entire game in 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 32 seconds according to the timestamps on my recording. This is a game that cost $50 when it came out, and you can beat it in an hour. And that's not speedrunning it. That's not knowing exactly what you have to do and playing through as fast as possible. This was a casual playthrough. A casual playthrough that I paused multiple times to take notes. Not only is that ridiculous, it's borderline criminal. This has got to be one of the most shameless cash grabs I've ever come across. I feel bad for any elderly person who dropped the money on this game expecting it to be a good Christmas gift for their grandchildren, which is probably the biggest demographic of people that actually bought this shit. Besides its incredibly short length, the game is also pretty ugly. It's definitely not up to par with the level of graphics that games had at the time. For reference, these are 2 screenshots from 2 games that came out the exact same year. Yeah. And yes, that is Metal Gear Solid 3. Kind of an unfair comparison, but, it's the same year, so fuck them. Looking at those pictures, though, that is legitimately crazy. Anyway, for the fact that this game lasts for less time than it takes for Pizza Hut to deliver, it gets a 2 out of 10. It plays fine, it's just ugly and short, like Danny DeVito. Number 23, 25 to Life, 39%. Grand Theft Auto 3 kickstarted a genre for consoles that is basically consisted of everyone else just trying to be GTA. Grand Theft Auto clones are a dime a dozen and have been for the better part of 25 years at this point. But at least a few have gone on to be good games in their own right. Well, this isn't one of them. This game fucking blows. I vividly remember how disappointed I was when this game came out because it actually had quite a bit of hype around it at that time. It lived up to none of that hype. The craziest part about this game, trying to be the GTA killer, is that it isn't even open world. It's just a level-based third-person shooter that fucking sucks ass. The gunfighting mechanics are terrible. You're literally better off just running at people with a bat, which I did for half of my playthrough. The graphics would have been considered bad years before this game ever came out. It's not good looking at all. And on top of all of that, this game might have the worst story and voice acting I've ever seen. The dialogue in this game sounds like it was written by a person who has never met a black person in their entire life and has only seen them on TV. I laughed so fucking hard watching some of these cutscenes because it was just so over the top with stereotypes. Oh man, it's so corny. Like here.
This is supposed to be MOB, money over bitches. Come on, dog. Don't disrespect my lady. And you don't have to justify my thug. I know I made a deal with the devil by being in the game.
It's so bad, man. If it was Saints Row, they could get away with it because it would be tongue-in-cheek. But this game was meant to be serious. Like, really serious. This game takes itself very seriously. They honestly thought that this was some kind of riveting storyline, like they didn't reveal that your friend is going to betray you in the first 5 minutes of the game. While you play through the poorly designed, barren levels, you will experience the only positive thing that this game has to offer. Its soundtrack, which is admittedly fucking awesome. I would have loved to run around and get into shootouts with the cops and gang members as DMX and Ghostface Killer are playing in the background, but the gameplay is so dog shit that that's not really an option. The best way to play this game is to sit at the main menu and listen to the soundtrack while you do literally anything else. 25 to Life gets a 2 out of 10. It would be a 1, but the soundtrack saves it. Put it on the set! Number 22, Cartoon Network Racing, 39%. At one point or another, every media company under the sun has made their own kart racing video game, especially for non-Nintendo consoles. While there have been some hidden gems, about 95% of them are just dog shit cash grabs. This game is somewhere in between those two options. It wasn't as low quality as a lot of its peers were, but it's not exceptionally good either. The graphics would have been acceptable in 2002, maybe 2003, but for 2006, these look pretty rough. Which is kind of weird because they're all just cartoon characters. You would think that these would be a lot easier to get right. Speaking of the characters, this game has a much bigger roster than a lot of its competitors ever did, with 24 racers all sorted by show, which makes it easier to find your favorites. That is, if your favorite is even in the game, which they probably aren't, because whoever was in charge of selecting what shows they needed to use needs a swift kick right in the giblets. I am Weasel. I am Weasel. No Ed, Ed, and Eddie. No Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. No Codename Kids Next Door. I am Weasel. I mean, dude, Cow and Chicken hadn't aired since 99. That's 6 fucking years, dude. Even Courage the Cowardly Dog is a stretch, dude. That show has been off the air for like 3 or 4 years at the point of this game coming out. Guys, what are we doing here? That said, you still have Dexter's Lab, you got the Powerpuff Girls, you got Johnny Bravo to choose from, so at least half the characters in the game are people that you would want to play as. As for the gameplay, it's honestly pretty solid. It's not perfect, but it's a perfectly serviceable kart racer. It clearly was inspired by Double Dash, as you pick 2 characters to race, one driver and the other one is the backup weapons guy, I guess. Each character has their own unique driving stats and their own unique powers when they're the weapons person. Those powers that you can activate by charging up your power meter, which you fill by drifting. It's a decent mechanic and it works pretty well, which, to be fair, is the kind of thing most Mario Kart ripoffs at the time screwed up. While the dual character racing is interesting, you can't switch during the race, so you're stuck with whatever positions that you put them in. But even though the full double dash mechanic isn't there, it is close enough to make selecting your characters correctly important, and it's a nice touch. The racing is fine, and the tracks are all pretty unique and well designed. It also has some pretty fun game modes, including eliminator races, where the person in last place every lap is knocked out of the race. That's actually one of my favorite forms of multiplayer that you can play with your buddies, so it's kind of cool to see in this game. All in all, this is just a very cookie-cutter racing game, but it's one of the better ones to come out around this time. Besides looking a little bit older than it is, it holds up pretty well. And honestly, I don't think it deserves to be on this list. It isn't incredible or anything, but there's enough things that they got right to make it enjoyable. That said, Cartoon Network Racing gets a 7 out of 10. It is a perfectly acceptable Mario Kart clone for the PS2, which, sadly, was a rarity. Number 21, Driven, 38%. Driven is an open-wheel racing game based on the 2001 film of the same name. Driven, the movie, was a massive box office failure, and to be perfectly honest, it's a pretty terrible movie. Now, I personally enjoy it, but Gone in 60 Seconds and Hackers are both in my top 10, so my taste in movies can't really be trusted. That being said, Driven is generally viewed as a bad movie. Driven, the game, decided to do exactly what its film counterpart had done and let everyone down that was excited for it. For all intents and purposes, this game should have been good. It looks great, especially for 2001, but that's where the positive aspects stop. The controls are incredibly touchy. I mean, incredibly touchy. And yeah, I understand that open wheel cars are super touchy, but not like this. This is just badly designed. The story mode is told through cartoon freeze frames with voiceovers done by the cast of the movie, mostly Stallone. And it's, oh man, it's cheese dick as fuck, dude. And if I hear one more word about the zone, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
The zone's where it's at. You can come on with the car, but Jimmy's gonna listen. I gotta show him I can still get in the zone. Prove I'm the best. I'm the best. You gotta be the best.
The fact that the story mode isn't just races, but a series of challenges as well is kind of cool. If it wasn't so goddamn hard to do any of them, it would be a little bit more enjoyable. When you're racing, if you spin out, you just gotta restart. You can't recover. You'll just end up spinning out erratically until you give up. It's so incredibly fragile. It feels like at any moment, a tiny gust of wind can spin your car out and just ruin all the work that you just put into this. The sound design is pretty cool. When you get out of the stadium, the crowd noise dies down and all you hear is the wind and some kind of nature sounds playing in the background. And then when you zoom back into the stadium, the crowd noise comes back. It's nothing special, but it is a cool touch, especially for 2001. But that doesn't make up for the fact that the actual zooming around the racetrack part is fucking terrible. There were some things that this game did that were decent. And it looks great for the time, as I said, but the rest of this game is just absolute bargain bin quality. 10 minutes in and you won't be having any fun. Trust me, I would know. Driven spins out with a 2 out of 10. Great look, terrible gameplay. Even the movie is better than this game. Number 20, Godzilla Unleashed, 38%. Has anyone else ever noticed that certain IPs pretty much always end up with bad games? Has there ever been a good Barbie game? As far as I know, they all fucking suck. It's the same with Superman too. I mean, fuck dude, until The Stick of Truth came out, South Park was on a legendary run of dog shit games. They couldn't get anything right. Sadly, Godzilla is another member of this illustrious group. I can't think of a single time I've played a Godzilla game made in any era that was any fucking good. And obviously, Godzilla Unleashed is no exception. I loaded it up and hit story mode, which is told through freeze frames, which is becoming a pattern I'm getting increasingly irritated by. I loaded into the level with no explanation of what I'm actually supposed to do, but I see other monsters and health bars, so I assume I just need to go beat some ass, which, with the help of my teammate that I wasn't aware was a teammate until the level was over, I easily got through it. On to the next one. And here's where I notice how awful the gameplay and the movement are in this game. You can't do combos because all of your attacks are too slow, but your opponents have no problem chaining together attacks. Your movement is slow, so you can't easily dodge attacks. The controls, it's just bad. At its core, this game is just a poorly made arena fighter. That's all it is. And I guess, the models look okay, but the environments that you fight in are muff. The buildings look like Legos, dude. It is not good. The story makes little to no sense if you even try to pay attention to it instead of just skipping to the next poorly designed mission. The missions also have insanely volatile difficulty spikes. One will be easy as fuck and the next is borderline impossible for whatever reason. It's just a miss. It sucks that Godzilla is such a cool property that repeatedly has been misused so many times. And actually, almost every kaiju game I've ever played sucks. Even the Rampage games aren't that great. What's up with that shit? There's gotta be a way to pull it off, right? There's gotta be a good one out there. If anybody knows of like a good kaiju game, let me know in the comments so I can check it out. Can somebody just make a fun Godzilla game, please? Pretty fucking please? Fuck. Well, there isn't much else to say about this game because that's all there really is to it. Godzilla Unleashed gets a 2 out of 10. I really want a good Godzilla game, man. Number 19, The Simpsons Skateboarding, 38%. I should have known that there would be some form of a Simpsons game on this fucking list. I hadn't played this in maybe 15 years, and honestly, I couldn't remember anything about it. And the reason behind that is pretty simple. This game just isn't very memorable. It's just Tony Hawk Simpsons edition. The controls are all the same, the challenges are all in the same style. There's nothing original here, which, to be fair, actually helps it out a little bit. You see, in my last video, I got mad about extreme sports copycat games not taking the formula Activision and Neversoft had and using it to create their own games. Everyone was trying to be different and build their own games to be unique, and they all ended up sucking ass. The Simpsons Skateboarding clearly learned from the mistakes of others and decided to just straight up copy Tony Hawk, which was smart. It's also just unoriginal and formulaic. The characters and the levels look really good. I figured that this came out in the later years of the system, but this dropped all the way back in 2002. Them nailing the graphics like this is a job pretty goddamn well done. Cartoon Network Racing could have learned a thing or two, 4 years later. I do want to show you guys this. The first thing you get to see when you load this game up is this unironically sick as fuck intro video. Yeah, that shit fucks. That's awesome. Getting into the game part, each level has 3 different modes that you can play through that change based on what level you're on. It adds quite a bit of variety. Speaking of the levels are way more massive than I expected them to be. Now, That also does end up adding some frustration to finding like collectibles and stuff. It kind of makes it a chore when the level is so massive, but that's a pretty small complaint, to be fair. You have tons of stuff to unlock and tons of secrets to find, and the actual skating part of the game works pretty great. The only problem that I have is that the gameplay itself is pretty slow. There's no real sense of speed, and it feels like you're just kind of putting along the whole time, which if you're used to a Tony Hawk game, that's going to be really hard to get used to, because the Tony Hawk games, when you're moving, you feel like you're moving. That said, the overall gameplay is pretty solid, and it does what it set out to do, which is make a Tony Hawk clone with Bart and Homer Simpson in it. It's a simple game, but there's fun to be had. If you play it, you'll run into some glitchy movement, you'll clip through certain barriers, you'll probably get stuck somewhere you shouldn't get stuck, but overall, it's a fun little game. I'm honestly surprised that I like this game at all, and yeah. It's not going to blow anyone's mind, but the hate that this game got doesn't really make sense to me. I was honestly taken aback by the fact that I genuinely kind of like this game. I never thought I'd say this, but the Simpsons Skateboarding is a 6 out of 10. I'd rather play this than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, that's for fucking sure. Number 18. Looney Tunes, Acme Arsenal, 38%. First things first, this game looks awesome. The character models and the environments look great. Acme Arsenal is your basic platforming beat-em-up. It does nothing that hadn't already been done a dozen times before or 100 times since. You jump, swing, and climb your way through levels while smashing robots with a comically large hammer. That's it. You collect these little radiated canisters that power you up throughout the level, but you don't even need them. The combat is insanely simple and easy, just like the platforming is. The level design is very straightforward, super linear, pretty boring. There's little to no variety in your enemies. You're going to fight the same 2 or 3 types for 3 to 4 levels at a time. Then you fight a boss, you go to a new area, you rinse, wash, you repeat it 3 times, and you have this entire game. It's not bad. It's just boring. If you play through the first 2 levels, you have seen all there is to see in this game. The characters you can play as don't change up the gameplay enough for you to care who you use. It's just a pretty bland experience, albeit a damn good looking one, but still bland. I'm giving Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal a 5 out of 10. Plays well, and it looks good, it's just super repetitive. Number 17, The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, 38%. Wait, what's this? A movie tie-in? On a worst games list? Oh, the huge manatee. Whatever will I do? Play it, obviously. First thing I noticed when I loaded this one up is that they let you choose between whether you want to play in standard or widescreen. That's kind of cool. The graphics are pretty rough, but actually still kind of decent at the same time. I'm not really sure if the character models look bad or not. It's weird, like sometimes they look like shit and other times they don't. I don't know whether I hate them or not. I guess not? I don't know. The cutscenes are all comic book styled, which means, oh golly gee willikers, it's another freeze frame story mode. Nice. The levels themselves look pretty damn good, and the platforming is well designed, but there are a few massive problems that get in your way, namely the fact that you have absolutely zero control over the camera at any time. You can't rotate it, you can't turn it to face the direction you want to look, you're stuck with whatever the developers think you should look at. Now, a fixed camera angle isn't a terrible thing. I've talked about my love for fixed angle survival horror games before, but this is a tad bit different. And that's mostly because the camera isn't fixed. It's constantly moving and fighting against you, and on top of that, this came out in 2008, an era where fixed camera games were more or less extinct. A game coming out in 2008 where you have zero control over the camera is insane to me. It doesn't help this game out at all. Another problem that I have with this game is the absolutely dog shit lock-on system. The gunfighting and melee combat is easy enough, but when you're fighting to lock onto somebody and they light you up and it won't fucking lock on, it gets very frustrating very fast. You can't turn the camera towards anyone, so you can't make it easier to lock on to anyone. So half the time you're getting riddled with bullets and you're fucking 2 feet away. Just lock on to the closest person. If I hit the lock on button, why doesn't it just snap to the closest person to me? That would make sense, right? It's just very, very annoying. What's less annoying is the platforming, though. It's very well done, but the difficulty spike is insane. The platforming sections you go through are either easy as hell or hard as fuck, and there's no in between. Certain sections you have to have almost perfect movement and perfect timing to get through them. And other times you could just close your eyes and hit the X button until you hear a cutscene start. It's really unbalanced. The combat is too easy, and the platforming is too hard at times, which seems like the opposite of how it should be. Although now that I think about it, if they had made the combat any harder, then that shitty lock-on mechanic would have been like even more frustrating. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be good either. I don't know, man. It just doesn't flow very well. You switch from a 5-10 minute fight sequence straight into a platforming section that's brutally hard, and then you go back to like a brain-dead melee combat section. The pacing just feels off. I don't know how else to really put it. It's just weird. Other than all of that, the only major issue for me is that you can't save in the middle of a level, and these levels are long. There's only 6 levels in the entire game, but each one takes about 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Now, there are checkpoints quite frequently throughout the levels, but if you were 3/4 of the way through a level and you had to stop playing for any reason, you can't save and come back to the last checkpoint you reached. You would have to start the entire level over, which is a massive oversight. At the end of the day, I didn't hate this game, but I didn't really like it either. There were some well-made and fun parts, but they were overshadowed by a few massive flaws. So for that, The Mummy gets a 4 out of 10. Number 16, Evolution Snowboarding, 38%. This game is weird. Not bad, just weird. This game is such a Konami-ass game, it hurts. Everything about this game screams Konami. You're escaping from some type of weird prison in the intro, and as you're snowboarding out of these conveniently made tunnels, it's giving you this Metal Gear Solid style executive producer credit as you're blasting down this hill. You're hitting people with spiked bats and chains, and then it cuts to all these crazy looking villains suiting up and coming after you. It's insane. It's so on brand for this fucking company, man. The premise is just weird, and so is the gameplay, but I don't know, it's pretty fun. I mean, because while they call it Evolution Snowboarding, it might as well just be called Road Rash on Ice. If you got this game expecting it to be like SSX Tricky, you're in for a very unpleasant surprise. This game is far more focused on the combat and time trials than any tricks or scoring system. Each section you get to has a collection of missions that you get to play through and a boss that you have to fight. All the missions play differently, and there's a good variety of things to keep it interesting without getting, monotonous. There's nothing groundbreaking, but it's fine. The character models look all right, and the courses look good. I'm pretty sure the only reason this game reviewed so poorly is because people expected it to be a straight-up snowboarding game, and they got something completely different. Every so often you come across unlockables, and you can equip your rider with new gear or upgrade your stats. It's a really cool menu system that actually lists every single piece of gear that's featured in the game sorted by brand. So you can kind of peruse all of the goodies that you can unlock at some point, which is nice. After each boss fight, you unlock a real-life snowboarder that you can play as instead of your own character if you want to, and they help you take down whatever this weird organization is. It's never really explained to you, which again, very on brand for Konami. This game is fine. It plays pretty well. It's a weird mashup of genres, but it looks okay. It's just a very average game. It's nothing special, but nothing terrible. That's why I'm going to give Evolution Snowboarding a 6 out of 10. Not what I expected at all, but a pleasant surprise. Number 15, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Zombie Ninja Pro-Am, 37%. I like Aqua Teen a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself a super fan. You know the type of people I'm talking about. Kind of fans that are obsessed with Rick and Morty now. Those are the same people that were obsessed with Aqua Teen back in the day. And those types of super fans are the only people who will gain any sense of satisfaction from this game. If you aren't a fan of Aqua Teen, don't even blink at this twice. This is a Aqua Teen Hunger Force golf game that's also a fighting game / kart racer. Let that one sink in. While the golf mechanics are decent, they're a little bit simple. It's not really much of a challenge. But how you play this game is you hit a shot and then you have to walk over and get it. And as you do that, the enemies spawn in. So you have to use shake or fry lock to fight them off so you can make your way to the ball. It's fun for the first couple of shots, and then it just becomes like really tedious because you move really slowly. So it takes forever to get anywhere. And the combat isn't interesting at all. It's a one-button beat 'em up. So you just beat up 30 fucking characters just to get to the ball and take your second shot. They also tucked in a little racing minigame in between every few holes, but other than that, this game is just smashed together generic game modes with a mediocre golfing system. None of it is done very well. It looks good, the characters and courses look great, and the humor from the show is there in spades, which can help keep you mildly entertained. The extras that they have are cool, especially if you're a fan of the show. They have a couple unreleased episodes you can unlock and all kinds of fun little tidbits and behind-the-scenes extras. But outside of that, there's nothing to it. When the best part of a game is an unlockable episode of the show it's based on, it's probably better to just stay away. If you're between the ages of 25 and 45 and you're one of those fucking weirdos who would call an Adult Swim cartoon your favorite TV show, play this game. If you're anything other than that, don't even consider putting yourself through this. There's no point. Just look up the episode on YouTube and skip the painful part of actually playing the game. Aqua Teen Hunger Force Zombie Ninja Pro-Am gets a 3 out of 10. Only the most hardcore fans will find anything positive about this game. Number 14, Shifters, 37%. I didn't know that this game was based in the Might and Magic universe until I was a little bit into it. Had I known that, I would have been more prepared for how bad this game is. Listen, I'm aware of the fact that the original Might and Magic games are pretty good. I am also aware of the fact that the Heroes of Might and Magic series fucking rules. That being said, all of the other Might and Magic spin-off games suck fucking balls. Crusaders of Might and Magic, Warriors of Might and Magic, Legends of Might and Magic, these games all are piles of shit. And guess what? Just like its prequel, Warriors of Might and Magic did before it, this game fucking sucks. I could tell by the intro that this game was going to look like shit, and surprise, surprise, I was right. This game ugly as hell. Just look at him. The fuck is that, dude? And what can we mix with bad graphics to make it even more unenjoyable? Well, I don't know. Why not throw in some super repetitive one-button combat? That seems like it'll fit the vibes this game's trying to give out. This game decided to go the opposite way of what every other action RPG game was doing at the time, and it decided, let's make our menus weird and convoluted. Let's make the quest and item systems a chore to even check. Oh, let's make your stats level up at a snail's pace and then give no explanation as to what the actual stats categories do. So, hey, if you want more health, you're just gonna have to guess, buddy. You know what? But here's the thing. All of those horrible mechanics, they pale in comparison. Because the worst thing that they did, the worst fucking thing that they did is they made an action RPG where you can have multiple quests going at one time, and they gave you no fucking map. No map, no information on where you need to go, no direction of any kind besides, hey, you need to go help the king, and he is somewhere in this gigantic castle. I was 5 minutes in and I was completely lost to the point where I ended up in the fucking sewers. When I tried to go back, guess what? Got even more lost. Just give me a map so I can check where I'm at, man. You don't have to highlight the objective. I'd like to know what room I'm in, what part of the castle I'm in. Fuck. On top of all that, the camera is constantly fighting against you. There's no autosave feature, so if you don't save every couple minutes, you just risk losing all of your progress at the drop of a hat. The sound design is fucking awful. Every time you come into a specific range of an enemy, the battle theme cuts off the current music and it just starts blaring in your ears until you kill him. And that happens like once every 10 to 15 seconds. It's super annoying. There is nothing about this game that's going to make you want to keep playing after 15 to 20 minutes. Nothing. Shifters gets a 2 out of 10. It's just another Might and Magic dog shit spinoff. Just go play Heroes. Just fucking go play Heroes. Number 13, Pimp My Ride, 36%. I don't know if MTV has ever made a good video game based on any of their shit. And if they have, I sure as fuck haven't played it. I loved this corny ass show back in the day. I was hoping this game would have at least some fun stuff hidden in it. And, well, you know, not really. And this shit is corny. The first thing that happens is Exhibit welcomes you to Pimp City.
You see this? Here, it's my city. It's called Pimp City.
Fucking Christ. After that, you get instant Nokia product placement, complete with the old school ringtone jingle, just right in your face, just fucking product placement. The Basics of the gameplay is you pick up a car to pimp for someone, and you watch this lame intro, and you get thrown into the city to drive around and earn money so you can buy new parts for the car. You do this through a couple different minigames. One is you just slowly cruise past a bunch of people on the side of the road and you enter a chain of button presses. That's super easy and pointless. The other minigame you can play is a one-button rhythm game where you ghost ride the whip and do dance moves that hadn't been cool way before this game even came out. This is legitimately one of the lamest things I have seen in a very long time. The difficulty ramps up later on, but for the first couple levels, like, this is what you're doing. Once you collect enough money, you drive the shitty car around to different stores and collect new parts for it. Each place has a different small mini game that you can complete to make the parts cheaper, meaning that you can buy all of the most expensive parts, so money management means absolutely nothing. You don't have to worry about driving safely because running full speed ahead into traffic does nothing but slightly slow you down and give you some money. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. You gain money from crashing into other cars. In a game about fixing up shitty cars, you can just run into cars and you get paid for it. Once you've picked up all the parts, you sit through a cutscene of the car's owner choosing between the ride that you pimped and the ride that your rival team pimped, which is never even close to beating yours. There is zero challenge in this game. There's no stakes, there's no reason to try hard because even if you half-ass it, you'll still probably win. And that's it. That's the whole game. Playing through 1 or 2 episodes of this game is moderately fun. After that, it just becomes really repetitive. It's incredibly boring. Adding on to the bland gameplay, everything except for the cars in this game just looks bad. I really wanted this to be good too, but, of course, let me down. Pimp My Ride gets a 3 out of 10. Number 12, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, 36%. Another tie-in game based on a shitty fucking movie. This is like the 3rd one on this list, man. Why don't people ever fucking learn? Anyway, this game basically plays like X-Men Legends and takes you through some of the events of the movie, but they take a lot of liberties there too. It's kind of a weird adjacent story to the actual movie. None of the actors from this movie voiced their own video game counterparts, so seeing the faces that you recognize and voices that don't match them is kind of weird. It doesn't look great, but the character models at least kind of resemble the actors that played them, except for the Thing, thankfully, because if I had to play as the Michael Chiklis version of the Thing, I would have punched a hole in my fucking monitor. And like I said before, this game is basically a dumber version of X-Men Legends, but in this version, you can only play as the Thing or 3 of your least favorite superheroes. That's cool. The tutorial level is long as hell and actually kind of hard. I died 15 minutes in and had to restart the entire fucking thing because there's no checkpoints. Which is definitely what you want from a tutorial level, right? The levels are long as fuck too, man. If you die at the final boss fight, you're just gonna have to replay like 30 minutes to get back to what you just fucking played through. Ugh. The enemies and the environments in this game look pretty whack, and the combat is, I don't know, it's half decent, but again, it's just one of those beat 'em ups that doesn't have any variety to it. It just ends up getting very old very fast. And by the time I was on the 2nd level, I had no desire to keep going because I was just mashing the same 2 buttons for 20 minutes at a time. There's no puzzles, there's no strategy aspects. It's just hitting the punch button over and over and over again. It's punch button simulator. I'm not sure which one is more boring or disappointing, the movie or the game, but the fact that I can't make up my mind should probably tell you everything you need to know about the quality. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer gets a 2 out of 10. Shit's fucking boring. Number 11, The Shield, the game, 36%. How in the fuck do I get back-to-back entries on this list where I have to talk about Michael Chiklis? How did I get here? What the fuck am I doing with my life? God damn. Anyway, for anyone who doesn't know, The Shield was a show that started in the early 2000s on FX. It was one of the first original shows that the channel had produced and started a trend that would carry on for quite a few years of FX putting out critically acclaimed and just awesome original shows. The Shield, Nip Tuck, and Rescue Me were all very successful, with shows like Sons of Anarchy, The League, It's Always Sunny, Archer, Damages, Justified, and a bunch of others coming out and legitimizing FX as a place that had quality TV. But all that basically started with The Shield. The TV show is fucking awesome. It's a gritty, corrupt cop drama, and it was the perfect show at the perfect time for that network. With so much success, obviously they wanted to branch out into other forms of media using the name of their flagship series, and that's how we got here. The Shield, the game, takes place between the 3rd and 4th seasons, so fans of the series will at least get to enjoy the narrative that you play through, which is nice because they won't enjoy anything else about this game. This is another level-based third-person shooter. As you play through the game, there are points where you are searching through crime scenes and pocketing drugs and cash through a very lazy RNG-dependent minigame, and you use that contraband to either pump up your retirement fund by selling it or reduce your heat level by turning it into the evidence locker at the police station in between missions. Your heat level is represented by a badge filling up in the top left corner every time you do something illegal or unethical, like planting drugs or shooting a suspect who has surrendered. Saving money does nothing. Like at the end of the game, it makes zero difference. You unlock a couple extras, that's it. So you might as well just turn it all in and make sure your heat meter doesn't get too high because that results in a game over. You don't do any real investigating of any kind. You just search through cabinets and drawers until you find a piece of evidence that you need and a cutscene plays. Speaking of cutscenes, the game looks decent for the time and the character likenesses are pretty good, but it's still an ugly game. One of the best examples of bad graphics I could think of is when you open a door, it's very clearly just a flat JPEG image that's shown in the doorway before the load screen pops up. So if you're rotating your camera, you can see that it's just a flat wall directly in front of you. The environments are basically all identical. The character models outside of the main cast all look pretty bad. And, the gameplay isn't super repetitive or anything, but none of the different aspects of the game are executed well, besides maybe the super brief stealth sections you get to play through. Fighting with someone is bad. The gunfighting is bad. Your AI partner is going to fail a mission more often than you will because they just run ahead of you and they get shot, and there's nothing you can even do about it. The movement and the camera aren't too bad, but everything else is pretty low quality and it shows. This had potential, but the gameplay flushes all of that down the toilet. If you can look past the multiple massive flaws that it has, you might be able to get a good time out of playing this game, but the only reason to do that is if you're a huge fan of the show. Outside of that, there's zero reason to pick this up. There's 100 games out there that do what this game did, but just way better. The Shield, the game, gets a 3 out of 10. It's a disaster from start to finish. It's just a mess. Number 10, Fight Club, 36%. God damn, dude, enough with the fucking tie-in video games. Just give me something original. Please, for the love of God. Fuck, man. God. Anyway, Fight Club is an awesome movie that came out in 1999. It was based on a book that was published in 1996. So obviously, in 2004, this is the licensed game that everybody was asking for. You would think there was so much time in between the release of the movie and the release of the video game that they would probably put a bunch of time and effort and love into the game and make it as good as possible, right? That would make sense, wouldn't it? Not today, Zerg. This game is a shit sandwich. This has got to be top 3 worst tie-in games I've ever played. It's egregious. It's how truly awful this game is needs to be studied. Obviously, it's a fighting game, which makes perfect sense. Sure. Too bad the fighting system is garbage. There's no real combos to speak of. Your opponents just constantly spam the same couple of moves and reverse half of your strikes. It's slow, it's ugly, it's not fun at all. And that's just the fighting we're talking about. The character models look like not once, not twice, but thrice canned dog shit. Look at this. Look at how they made Bob look, man. That shit's fucking terrifying. And no, that isn't a screenshot. That's part of the story mode, because how can anyone on this list tell a story without using fucking freeze fucking frames, dude? God. Anyway, back to Bob. Bob has fucking jiggle physics. That is a level of detail I don't think a single fucking person asked for. They spent time on that instead of improving their fucking dog shit fighting system. That's infuriating. So the story mode takes all of 30-ish minutes to beat. And after you beat it, there's literally nothing else to fucking do. At least the final cutscene looks pretty good, even if the characters look completely different than they did for the rest of the game. Oh, and during the actual game, they made Tyler look like a fucking complete bitch, dude. Look, what the fuck is this? Also, if you didn't know how Fight Club ended, the last few cutscenes leading up to the finale make zero fucking sense. This is just a frustrating piece of shit, dude. The only positive things I have to say about this game is that the backgrounds look really good, and it's really short. Other than that, fuck everything about this piece of shit fucking game. Fight Club is a 0 out of 10. Shame on whoever made this shit, dude. Number 9, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 35%. Holy fuck, enough with the fucking movie games. God fucking damn it, dude. This game is based on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie starring Johnny Depp, but instead of making the characters realistic in the style of the movie, they are heavily stylized into a weird sort of Tim Burton look, I guess. I don't know. It looks all right. It vaguely follows the events of the movie and book, but it has a lot of extra stuff Charlie has to do to fill out the gameplay. It plays pretty simply. It's just a platformer with very, very small Pikmin-style aspects because you direct the Oompa Loompas around every now and then. But the main crux of the gameplay is platforming and puzzle solving. Each level you play is a little bit different. You learn new mechanics, and Charlie helps save the other kids and fix all the things that they've fucked up along the way. It controls pretty well, and the platforming is fine. The candy system is pretty good, and that's how you unlock new abilities. The environments are good, the characters are fun, gameplay is simple, but it's more engaging than it has really any right to be. Even the guy filling in for Johnny Depp did a pretty decent job at replicating his voice. All in all, this is a mediocre platformer made for kids who are fans of the movie. It does its job well enough. Main complaint I have here is the camera controls are inverted and there's no option to change that. I hate that shit. I had a fun time playing through this, and honestly, if you're a fan of the movie, just give it a playthrough. It's not bad. It'll only take a couple hours anyway. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory gets a 6 out of 10. I had a pretty decent time. Number 8. Jeremy McGrath's Supercross World. 35%. In the last month, I've played 3 different games with the Jeremy McGrath on the cover. All 3 of them have been absolute garbage. It's insane that with each game, this series kept getting worse. On my last video, someone commented and was like, yeah, the first one was actually pretty fun, and then every game afterwards got progressively worse. And he's fucking right. This game somehow is worse than the PS1 games, and those were absolute dog shit. How do you even do that? It's infuriating. Once again, the trick system sucks. The bikes feel slow. When you go off a jump, it's a 50-50 on whether or not you're going to fall off when you land, even though the guys in front of you just all went off the same jump and landed just fine. Oh, during the freestyle rounds, if you rotate backwards to do a flip, you just automatically crash midair. It took me a minute to figure that out. Couldn't figure out why I was just bailing in midair. It's because my bike went vertical, so you can't do a backflip even if you fucking wanted to, which means you can't do the one fucking thing that everybody wants to do when they load up one of these fucking games. While I play these games, I have a notebook sitting next to me where I just jot down little notes about each game as I play them, just in case I forget about certain things. It's usually, 7 or 8 lines, just little notes. This one has 3 lines. Let me read you exactly what I wrote down for this game. First line, this game is going to be ass. On the next line, it says, yep, ass. And the last line says, this game is fucking doo-doo juice. Fuck this shitty fucking series. I'm done. Those are my feelings on this game. It's pretty obvious what the score of this one is going to be, but just to make it official, Jeremy McGrath's Supercross World is a 0 out of 10. And yeah, fuck this series, dude. Number 7, Fugitive Hunter, War on Terror. 35%. Oh, I've been looking forward to talking about this one. I am so excited for this entry. I legitimately had more fun playing this game than I had with any other game on this list. And not because it's any good, because it's so fucking bad. This game is so fucking bad. I genuinely had a lot of fun. I don't even know where to begin with this one, man. This game is just, it's perfect. It is a perfect game. Oh, if they had done anything different or tried to improve anything, it would ruin everything about it. This game is so fucking awful on every level that it's comical. The voice acting is terrible. Listen to this. This is one of the first things you hear when you start a new game.
To lean left or right from a corner,
press the directional button.
Left or right.
What? It couldn't just re-record it? What the fuck? The main character is supposed to be this badass, but he just comes across as like such a total cornball, dude. Like he comes across as the type of guy that'd be like dipping his face into a bowl of ice water, dude. This shit is so lame. The animations are bad, the graphics are bad, the fighting is bad, the gunplay is awful, the storyline sucks dick. Like, it's incredible, dude. They literally fucked up every single part of this game. Everything, dude. Even the small things are terrible. This is real dumb. Oh, man. I'm not kidding you when I say I was crying laughing while playing this game. Man. Yeah, going back to my notes, let's see. Let me read you the first thing I wrote about this game. Holy fuck, this is the ugliest game on this list. Jesus Christ, this is going to be the drizzling shits. And, and then the next thing I wrote was in all caps. It just says, oh my fucking God, it's Osama. Let's fucking go. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. I didn't even know he's in the fucking game. He's the fucking final boss of the game, dude. That's so fucking funny. Oh, dude, you're finishing the first level. You come around a corner. It's just fucking Osama bin Laden. Oh, dude. Like, the stereotypes in this game are all so ridiculous. Every single Middle Eastern enemy is just crazy style. And then the first couple levels, you're going after a couple of black gang members, and they're holding their guns sideways and threatening to bust a cap in my ass, dude. It's fucking hilarious. Whoever wrote this script watched one episode of the Boondocks and was like, oh, I get it. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Oh my God, dude. I had so much fucking fun playing this game. Everything in this game fucking sucks, and it is so fucking fun because of it. You have to play this game. You have to play it just to see how bad it is. It has to be seen to be believed. This is a 10 out of 10. This is the most fun I've had with a game in quite some time. I cannot recommend this one enough. Please play this game. Number 6, Evil Prophecy, 34%. I had never heard of this game until making this video. I had no idea what to expect. What I didn't expect was for the intro to look like a 90s cartoon. That was fucking cool. But I could feel something sinister lurking beneath the surface. And what was that sinister thing lurking beneath the surface? The rest of the game. Imagine if you played Gauntlet, but it just looked worse and played like shit. You have Evil Prophecy. There's no voice acting besides grunts and shouts. The story is paper thin, and out of the 4 main characters, only one of them is even relatively likable. Each mission is themed after a monster that you're hunting. The first one is a werewolf. The second one is a sea creature. I think like 3rd or 4th level is Frankenstein. And so on and so on. 15 minutes in, I've been killing the same 2 types of wolf-related enemies, trying to figure out where I need to go. Eventually, I found my way to a cave where the werewolf lived, spent another 10-15 minutes finding him, just to have the laziest boss fight of all time. Ta-da! On to the next area. The combat sucks. Can't aim your attacks very well, so it's kind of a crapshoot whether or not you're going to actually hit what you're looking at. Camera sucks. And when you change characters, the camera rotates behind them and the way that they were facing. So if you were facing opposite directions of the member that you're switching to, it's very disorienting. I wandered around in this game for a few hours, and honestly, I can't say I found anything that made this worth playing at all. It looks terrible, it plays even worse. I don't know. They should have known better than thinking this was a good idea. Evil Prophecy gets a 2 out of 10. Number 5, Mike Tyson Heavyweight Boxing, 33%. Another day, another video, another shitty Mike Tyson boxing game. Come on. This is the sequel to the Mike Tyson boxing on the original PlayStation, a game that I already reviewed in my last video and was pretty bad. I was worried that the boxing system in this one would be the same as the previous title, but I found out that this game was developed by a different studio, so they built a new engine from scratch instead of using the old one. Fuck, what a piss poor idea that was. I didn't know that it was possible to have a worse fighting system than the last game, but here the fuck we are. This game is so fucking bad. I should have known that there was going to be a shitter when the first thing that popped up on my screen was a language select menu. That's like the telltale sign of a dog shit game right there. Everything is a step backward from the previous game, which already sucked. The graphics look terrible. The fighters are even more bland and uninteresting. Even the menu music sucks. When you load up the main menu, this like fake ass Dr. Dre West Coast ripoff starts blasting. Oh, fuck, man. The career mode is dumbed down and it lacks any need of strategy. You just button mash and hope something connects. If you get knocked down even once in a fight, it's over. It's an automatic KO no matter how much damage was actually done. Not that you can tell if you're doing any damage anyway. This is, by a very wide margin, the worst boxing game I've ever played. And I literally played 2 dogshit boxing games less than a month ago. I wouldn't suggest this to anyone for any reason. There is nothing in this game that you can't get somewhere else. Mike Tyson heavyweight boxing gets a 1 out of 10. Number 4, MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch, 32%. Oh, sick, another MTV game. Those have such a rich history of being of the utmost quality. I'm very excited now. Celebrity Deathmatch, for those who don't know, was a TV show that aired on MTV from the late 90s to the very early 2000s. This game came out after the show had already been canceled. If only they had also canceled this piece of shit fucking game, and then my life would be predominantly better. Somehow the graphics in this game suck. Even though they're based on characters made out of fucking Play-Doh, it looks awful somehow. It looks so bad. The celebrities they have is a who's who of who gives a fuck, and the actual gameplay for the matches is horrific. Your attacks randomly cycle on the face buttons, so hitting the square button won't actually do the same attack each time, a feature I can't believe hasn't caught on for other games. I mean, who wants to know what attack you're going to use? Make that shit random as fuck. That will obviously make for a way better fighting experience. What little humor the show had is forced through the badly animated character faces and into the poor ears of anybody trying to make it more than 4 minutes into this goddamn wreck. The only thing this game fails at more than being fun is being funny. The show itself was already barely funny. This game has even less humor. The jokes aren't good, the delivery is shit, and it's all ugly as fuck. This game is so bad that it has legitimately affected my feelings towards the original show. I like the show less now because I played this game. Do you understand how bad a fucking game has to be for me to start hating the source material? I hate this shit-ass fucking game. I would rather have all of my teeth ripped out of my skull and then have to eat the exterior of a fucking cactus every day than ever play this fucking game again. 0 out of 10. Fuck this fucking game. Number 3. Women's Volleyball Championship, 32%. Hey, what would a worst games list be without some terrible volleyball game? This one is specifically for the ladies though. And how do we know that? I mean, pink menu. The gameplay for this one is atrocious. You can't tell what's going on at any point. The computers are overpowered. It's way too fast. I don't know how you make a volleyball game that's really fun, but I know it's not like this. It's definitely not like this. But the biggest problem with this game isn't the fact that it plays like shit. The biggest transgression this game has committed is that it was released in 2008 and it had the audacity to look like this. Look at that. Fucking look at it, dude. What the fuck? It looked like they're melting. There is zero excuse for how bad this looks and plays. Honestly, I'm mad that they charge people money for this PS1 looking ass fucking game. Get the fuck out of here, dude. This is going to be the shortest entry on this list. Women's Volleyball Championship gets a 1 out of 10. Number 2, Godai, Elemental Force, 27%. Wonder what my notes say about this one. Let's see. Decent looking intro. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so there's a tutorial level, which I'm always thankful for when it comes to older games with garbage control schemes. The gameplay is easy enough to pick up, but it looks goofy as fuck. The story is something along the lines of your parents got killed and now you're older and trained your whole life to go disappoint them by constantly partaking in horrible platforming and mediocre fighting. The gameplay is repetitive, but it's not especially bad. What is especially bad is the sound and the voice acting. It sounds like it's the first Shenmue game.
By holding the Access Inventory button and pressing the melee attack button, release the Access Inventory button to arm the selected weapon.
Like, the audio is so fucking bad. And it's garbled. Ugh. It sounds like it was recorded on like a 1920s microphone.
A swing and a miss from Shoeless Joe Jackson.
There's a cutscene every 2 fucking seconds. All you want to do is skip it, but you can't. So you have to stare at the horrible fucking graphics and be abused by that as the developers try to tell us this story that, I don't know, somehow is supposed to justify suffering through this fucking mess. The enemies are all the same 3 types, as far as I can tell. The bosses are unfair and the game does absolutely nothing to tell you what you're supposed to do against them. Godai feels like a game that isn't finished. It feels like a pre-alpha demo, like a build that somebody gave to their friend to test out. It's just really janky and it feels really broken. Godai Elemental Force gets a 1 out of 10. This game makes me want to Godai. I fucking hated this shit, dude. And number 1, Gravity Games Bike. Street, Dirt, Vert. 24%. The intro video for this game had Disturbed playing in the background, so that's already negative points right there. That band fucking sucks. As for the game itself, it's just another BMX game trying to compete in an incredibly oversaturated market. This game was clearly rushed out to stores because it feels like they just stopped working on it halfway through. Which, I mean, that's par for the course with anything Midway touched, but we'll get to them in a second. The graphics suck, the maps are generic and boring, the gameplay is exactly like every other extreme sports game, except for this game is just like really, really shitified. Gravity Games Bike, this is worse than the TJ Lavin game on the PS1, and I almost had a fucking aneurysm playing that game. This shit fucking stinks, dude. The controls are dog shit, the physics are dog shit, the graphics, soundtrack, level design, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. It's all terrible. There isn't a single redeeming quality in this entire fucking game. And I looked, why is it so fucking hard for people to make a good BMX game? Why has it only been done like 2 times ever? Why? Why? Why do I automatically assume that any game with BMX in the title fucking sucks? Why the fuck does this game look worse than a PS1 title? Why am I even angry about this? Why am I upset? I don't even fucking know. But here we are. It's too late now. So fuck it. And of course, this game was put out by Midway. They already had like 2 or 3 other games on this fucking list. Another company I can't fucking stand and don't miss. Oh, I hate them to the very depths of my soul. Anyway, Gravity Games Bike, Street, Dirt, Vert would be a 0 out of 10. But you know what? This is my list and I can do whatever I want with the scores. So I'm going to give this one negative points. This game gets a -1 out of 10 because of its stupid fucking name. That's a dumbass name. You have 6 words and 4 punctuation marks. Fucking, I just hate everyone, man. Well, that was a far more miserable experience than last time. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. If you're still here, thanks. If you're not still here, never fucking mind. If you haven't seen the first video I did like this, based on the PlayStation 1, there's a link to that, like, here somewhere. You can check that out if you like, or not. I got a couple more videos I'm working on. They're going to be a little bit different than this one, but hopefully you guys will enjoy them. Other than that, just enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'm going to go sit and play Stardew Valley and try to feel better about myself. As always, take care of yourselves. I'll catch you on the flip side.